Hello everybody, nice to see you all. Today I have got some Pythagoras theorem for you guys. You guys are obviously here as you guys do not know how to do Pythagoras theorem. And I have made a quick mistake right here by not getting my pen up, and I'm going to get my pen up now. So, as you guys know, Pythagoras theorem, as it says here, is we are trying to find a side which we do not know, but when we have two sides in a right angled triangle. Okay? So the formula for this is a squared plus b squared, and if I'm going to be able to fit it in, equals c squared. Now, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. C squared is the longest side of the triangle, which is also known as the hypotenuse. Okay? Now, the hypotenuse, if you already know the hypotenuse, then what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to do one of these, take away c squared. So let's take, we've got a squared, take away c squared equals b squared. It's just like rearranging the formula, really. Okay, now that we know that, oh, one thing. Now I have addressed that. So there's also a way of working out this. If there's a good way of remembering it, it's called add it. Well, there's a good way. I'm not going to write it down, but there's a way of remembering this, and it's called add it, square it, root it. So you add a and b, and you square that, and then you get the square root of it, and you square root it, and then you find the side. Okay? So now I'm going to go do some examples here. So PQR is a right angled triangle. Here we have PQR. PQ, which is here, equals 16 centimeters. PR equals 8 centimeters. Calculate the length of QR. Give your answer correct to two decimal places. So, I always find when it says, obviously, when it says two decimal places, write down your full answer on your calculator. And before I mention this, this is for a calculator as well. So, here we have the hypotenuse, and we also have the opposite side to the angle. But so that is not relevant. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 8 squared take away 16 squared. We're going to take it away because we have the longest side already, which is c squared, right? So we're doing a squared take away c squared equals b squared. Okay. So get your calculators out, and we're going to do 8 squared take away 16 squared, and we're going to get the answer, which is actually no, you can't do it that way because you have to do 8 squared equals 64, and then you do take away with the answer that you've already got 16 squared, and you should get 192. So now we've got 192. We have to square root 192, which will give us the length of QR, which is this side here. So if we do that on our calculator, then we will get, sorry about this, 192. My calculator's a bit crap. We get 13.856. Okay, I'm going to write that down. 13.856. Okay, and it asks for two decimal places. Oh, I've gone straight through that. But it asks for two decimal places. Okay, so we're going to have to write this two decimal places, which if you round this up, it will be 13.86. And that will go right there. Let me just 13.86. And that is your answer for that. Oh, by the way, I did make a very small mistake here. It's supposed to be 16 squared take away 8 squared. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, let's do another example. We're getting used to this now. So, here we have x, y, and z is a right angle triangle. X, y, and z. xy, here we have xy equals 3.2 centimeters, and xz equals 1.7 centimeters. Calculate the length of yz, which is that angle. So you can look at this in two. You can. So what I would do in this question, I'm trying to say, what I would do in this question is I would look at it in a different way to that it already is. I would flip it over. So the hypotenuse is here. All right. So it looks a little bit like this. A little bit like that without that bit. But you get the gist, okay? But you can still do it like this, as this is the hypotenuse, and the formula for this is a squared plus b squared equals c squared, not because we do not have the hypotenuse, and we're working out the hypotenuse because that is the formula for the hypotenuse. C squared equals hypotenuse. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 1.7 squared plus 3.2 squared. And then we're going to find out our answer. So if we do that now on our calculators, 1.7 squared equals 2.89, okay? And we're going to plus that, 3.2 squared. We're going to plus those together, and we should get 13.13. Okay, and it's going to be bigger than these two, obviously, because the hypotenuse is the longest side in a right angle triangle. Okay, so we've got 13.13, and it's still going to be very small. It's going to be around 4, but 4.3, something like that. But yeah, after all this, we're going to get 13.13. Okay, and that's going to we're going to have to square root that, and we're going to, if you do that now, if we square root 13.13, it's going to give us 3.62. And we're going to have to write it to three significant figures. So that is going to be, so we've got on our calculator 3.623. Right? That is not the answer, as that is not three significant figures, but I wrote it down in terms of accuracy purposes. And 3, we can't round that up, so it will be 3.62 centimeters. And that is your answer to the hypotenuse. Okay, I'm going to do a couple more with you guys. I could just do that. But yeah, as you get the gist, really. It's not exactly hard. Obviously, you've got to pay attention to what you've got here, but I think you're getting the idea. So ABC is a right angle triangle. AB, which is this, equals 8 centimeters, and BC, which is BC, equals 11 centimeters. Calculate the length of AC. So we're calculating the hypotenuse again. So it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay, so what we're going to do is 8 squared plus 11 squared equals c squared. Okay, now do that in your calculators. I'll ask you what to type in, as I've got my calculator in front of me. You guys use whatever calculator you've got. So I'll type in 8 squared plus, actually I'll press the equals first, 64, plus 11 squared, and we'll get 185. So c squared equals 185. Now, we have to square root that 185. 185 square rooted. And if we do that, you type in the square root 185, and it should give you 13.601. So that'll be 13.6. So you write that down. 13.6 there, and that is rounded to three significant figures, as said in as requested. Okay, so you guys get that. Sorry about the handwriting, but I'm not very good with this. Okay, so we'll do one more, or we'll do a more complicated one. Actually, we'll go and do this one. Oh, okay. We have this. The diagram shows three cities: York, Leicester, and Norwich. Norwich is 168 kilometers due east of Leicester. Here we are. You know. Um, York is 157 kilometers due north of Leicester. Okay, and calculate the distance between Norwich and York. Give your answer correct to the nearest kilometre. So this is actually very easy. It looks complicated to some people, but you know what? It's not. So you've got this side and this side. We're basically doing exactly the same, but it's more a worded equation, and the question, sorry, and the number's going to be a lot bigger. So what we're going to do is 1, 5, 7, 7 plus 157 squared plus 168 squared equals C. And C is the distance between Norwich and York. Well, it is C in the beginning, in the end, but so do that on your calculators. 157 squared equals 24,649. You're going to plus that to 168 squared. They're going to be very big numbers, so don't worry. That's going to give you 52,873. And what you're going to do with that is you're going to square root it. So you're going to square root. Let me find. I've actually lost myself again. 157 squared equals that plus 168 squared equals 52. So you're going to find 52 8 52876 52,876 square rooted. Okay, we're going to do that right now. 52876 underneath the square root, and we're going to find out what it is. And the distance from York to Norwich, or Norwich to York, either way, is 229.94. Now, it asked us to give it to the nearest correct to the nearest kilometre, okay? So we can't round the 9 up, so we're going to round the 9 up to 9 again, because it's above 5, and we're going to get 230 kilometres. And there you are, it's 230 kilometres from Norwich to York, and that is how you work out Pythagoras theorem. Alright, so that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, I hope you learned something. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you very much.